Okay, that's good. Thanks for joining us. Let's go on.
My name is Oyin Consola, HR professional from Nigeria.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. All right. Who are the other people?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Adebola Babatunde speaking.
Okay.
I'm a business and transactions lawyer,
Okay.
corporate governance professional too.
Okay.
I'm glad to be here.
Great to meet you here. Thank you for joining us. Let's keep it going. And please let me ask that we would like us to have our videos on at the right time. But let's at least we can get to know each other. But let's still prepare to have our videos open. I'm going to open my video in the next few minutes. But let's continue introducing ourselves. Pleased to meet everyone here. I'm excited that you're here this evening. Yep. If you want to introduce yourself, please just take the floor. There is Abiola, Oyinkansola. You want to introduce yourselves. Adebayo, Oluwatosin. Okay, Adekunbi. I can't. Okay, that's fine. Toyosi, please introduce yourselves while we are before we start, because in the next few minutes we will kick off. Adebayo, please introduce yourself. There's also Eniola. You want to introduce yourself. Oluwatosin, you can go ahead.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, go on.
Maybe the first person should go ahead.
Okay. Oluwatosin, go ahead, please. And then we'll go to Adebayo. Oluwatosin, please go ahead. You're muted now.
Sorry, sir. Are you talking to me, sir?
Yes, please introduce yourself.
Okay. My name is Tosin Agbata.
Okay.
I'm a civil servant. I'm a town planner. I work with Lagos State.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Pleased to meet you. Pleased to meet you. Pleased to meet you. Who are the other people? Adebayo, please go ahead and introduce yourself now.
Hello, everyone. My name is Adebayo Ajibola. I'm a speaker. I'm a certified coach. I've worked with Pastor Adeoye. He has mentored me over the years, and I'm still enjoying mentorship. I do e-commerce, and I do business generally.
All right. Pleased to meet you here. Thank you for coming onto the call today. We really appreciate you. Okay, let's have other people introduce yourself and what you do. We want to meet you. Our guest speaker is trying to come in. We want to meet you, what you do, and why you came in for this event today. All right, let's all right. Welcome again, Adekunbi. Okay, so there is Esther, Janet. Adiola, please introduce yourself. Yes, Adiola, introduce yourself, please.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Adewunmi Gbogboade. I'm a public health nutritionist. So
Okay.
I guess that's that. Yes, sir.
Okay, pleased to meet you. Please don't worry. I'm not going to ask you for your PIN account details and PIN number. No. So don't be shy to introduce yourself. Okay, who are the other people on the call? You not introduce yourself. Okay, somebody says Ruth Praise, I'm a student. Okay, pleased to meet you. Olateju, let's have your introduction.
Hello, good evening.
Hi,
Sir.
good evening.
Yes, sir. My name is Olateju.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a power engineer.
Okay.
I'm into renewable energy and partially into telecoms too.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Welcome. Thank you for coming.
Yes, sir.
Let's have other people. As many, please would like your videos to be on. This is a learning session. Please try and put on your videos so that we at least have a picture of a face behind the name. Please put on your pictures, please. Our guest speaker is trying to come in. We are having probably on his own side. Okay, let's have other people. Tunji Oyebisi, please introduce yourself. Oh, Eniola is at work. All right, don't worry. Oh, we're having internet challenges for speaker. It's the internet. Okay. Oof. Okay, what we're trying to bring in our guest speaker, I'll just do. All right, some people are in transit, but those who can, I saw Auntie Shade. Please introduce yourself, Auntie Shade. I saw you earlier. You came in on the call. You're muted, Auntie Shade. I know you're somewhere because I think I saw you. Oh, I think our internet. Okay. I think we will start now. Okay, Benga, you want to introduce yourself? Hello, Benga. Hello, you're muted.
Hello, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Yes, my name is Benga Kitunde.
Okay, pleased to meet you.
So I'm a piping designer. I work for Total Energies, Victoria, Lagos.
All right.
So I reside in Lagos and I'm pleased to be here.
Okay. Thank you so much. Super awesome to have you here. Thank you. What are the things you would like to learn here? What are the kind of things you would like to see at this meeting? What are your expectations from this meeting?
May I speak, sir?
Yes, go ahead. I wanted Benga to say something, but apparently, yeah, go ahead, please.
Oh, okay. Let me just pause for Mr. Benga.
No, please share yours. Share yours. Mr. Benga will still speak. You share yours. That's Inkosola, right? Please go ahead.
Yes, so I was going to say, today is the future we look forward to yesterday, and tomorrow is another future. So there's a lot of cloud around steps that people should take to thrive in different aspects of their life, whether career, whether investment decisions, or even decisions around how to manage and use their time so that they can appropriately maximize it. So I'm hoping that from the future series, I'm going to get a lot of enlightenment around the future so that I'm able to better harness my skills and the resources I have to be able to thrive in the nearest future.
Okay, awesome. You want to thrive in the future. Do we have any other person who wants to share why they are here? And also to Onyekosla, you didn't introduce yourself, by the way. Onyekosla is one of our speakers.
Yes, I had introduced myself earlier. My name is Onyekosla Emmanuel. I'm an HR professional.
Pleased to meet you. Okay, any other person you want to introduce yourself and what you hope to gain in these sessions?
Hello.
Hello, hi.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is
Chief
Taiwo Adeoye.
Good to see you. Yeah.
Taiwo Adeoye is my name.
Yeah.
I'm in Manchester. I'm glad to be here to see my guy once again. Nice to be with you here again. My interest in this and what I expect to gain is how best to invest my time and talents of today into the future and to be able to reap huge benefits thereof.
Awesome. 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 Thank you so much. Awesome seeing you again. That is a wonderful brother from another mother. I mean, this is a pleasant surprise. You didn't tell me you're going to be here. It's been ages.
Sometimes it happens. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your brotherhood always. Great supporter of what we do. We're in Manchester together for a whole year, being drilled in cybersecurity. Super amazing big brother. Thank you so much. I am excited that you are here.
Yes, nice to be here once again. Thank you.
Yes, thanks a lot. All right. Do we have other people? And as many of us that can please put on our videos, we would really appreciate it. It's a learning meeting that we are in. Please put on your video. It's a learning meeting, and let your notes be also beside you. Any other person you want to introduce yourself? Adebayo, you're muted. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, hi, sorry. I didn't know I was spotlighted.
No, that's fine.
Adebayo Aderomu is the name. What's the sorry, I just joined. What's the introduction?
Just tell us who you are, why you are here, what you do, what you hope to gain from the session, where you are speaking to us from.
Oh,
there are no marks, there are no wrong or right answers, by the way.
Okay, cool. Adebayo Aderomu is the name. I'm joining from the beautiful land of Ikorodu in Lagos State.
All right.
What else? What I do talent acquisition, talent management, talent operations, everything in that cycle, right? I work in a FinTech, yeah. I could say global FinTech actually. What else? But then I came here very curious around the learning, right? It's the future series, and I'm just curious, okay, how to navigate the future and see the learnings I can catch here. And of course, I also duly respect the people on the board, yeah, like the people taking the sessions. So looking forward to the knowledge I will glean across everybody.
Thank you. Super excited to have you in our midst.
Thank you so much, sir.
Really appreciate you coming in. All right. Adekubi, thank you for putting on your video. And by the way, for putting on your video, I owe you a gift. Thank you for that. Thank you for putting on your video. So anybody, you want to introduce yourself, please? We would like as many persons. We want to know you, why you're here, what you hope to learn. And then I'll go to the intro of the future series shortly. Why you are here, what you want to learn. A couple of persons have spoken, but some other persons you've not spoken. Oh, some people are having difficulty signing in. Sorry about that. It's the internet. If anyone is having difficulty, please just let them know. Oh, it's the internet. Sorry about that. People are buzzing me on my phone. Apologies for that. Apologies. I guess speaker also is telling me saying, please try. Okay, what do we hope to see? What do we hope to learn? What do we hope to see? What do we hope to learn? What are we looking? Please introduce yourself. I can see Black Moses, Boys Soloro. Please unmute your microphone. Please share where you're from, what you hope to learn from this series. Yep. Black Moses, you're muted.
All right, good evening.
Yes, Mr.
Yeah,
Tayo.
good afternoon, everyone.
Yes, Mr. Tayo, please, you speak. What do you hope to learn? Yep, go on.
All right. So I'm happy to be here this evening. Looking forward to learning from Pastor Nee, even though you've not chosen not to call him one. Strategy is important for the future.
Yeah.
And the African business landscapes needs to start tapping into that. And for those who want to invest in Africa, we also need to start being futuristic with our plans. And I'm excited to be here to learn the roles that one could take in being futuristic with the plans towards Africa. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for that. Mr. Tayo, let's hear from you. Let's hear from you. Hello, you're muted, sir. Okay, while we're waiting for Mr. Tayo, I would like to just quickly.
Oh, good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Sorry.
Good to have you. Also, good evening.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just came in from work, so.
Oh, we just want to know. Pleased to meet you here. Where are you from? What would you like to see today? What would you like to learn from the session? That's basically it. Yay! The internet has finally allowed. Oh wow! Thank you so much for coming in. Your audio.
Wow. Hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you now. Thank you so much.
Apologies. You know, we should be paying attention to these things, to these digital things.
Yes.
Because somehow you just don't know how to fix yourself. I have to use about 2-3 phones before I could get on here.
Oh wow!
But thank you for the opportunity.
Yes. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your coming. And we know you are actually, it's not very convenient because you have to do some movements. Thank you for coming. We're just in introduction. We would introduce one of the participants. Mr. Tai was introducing himself. We'll finish that. And then I will just introduce the conference and introduce you, and then we kick off, sir. Welcome and thank you for coming in. We appreciate you so much. Okay, so Mr. Tai, I'll finish your introduction.
Okay. Thank you. My name is Folanyo, based in Lagos.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope to just gain. I believe the series that we are doing today is HR. I don't know, but I want to just wait and see as we unpack the future series what is embedded in it. Then maybe I'll now be able to get myself online.
Okay. Thank you everyone for coming and all protocols observed. Thank you, Mr. Tyler. Thank you everyone who has introduced themselves. And thank you. It's difficult for me not to call you Pastor Nee. Thank you for coming. We really appreciate it. I mean, old habit die hard. I tried many times to call you maybe Dr. Nee. I would have said Pastor before I remember. Okay, thank you for coming. We really appreciate everyone on the call. You see, this series was born out of a couple of interesting conversations. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Adeoye Abodunrin. Because my name is murdered anywhere, you're not a Black person, I'm calling, so I had to adopt my baptismal name, which is David. but most of people know me as Adeoye and all of that. And as part of what I do, I pastor, and I also do work in consulting. One of the things I do is futurism, and it's super amazing the kind of gaps I see in the environment, all the way from church into consulting. And that's what is betting this series. As usual, I don't do anything until I am very convinced. Maybe I'm too slow for my convictions. Maybe I overweight over things. This one is coming at the instance of one, because my persuasion is really good, divine direction. Some changes are in the horizon across Africa. Some things about to happen all over the world, Africa inclusive. But the ones in Africa, it's far huge and big. This conference is to prepare us, this 1 week period is to prepare us for the future and the things that we're going to see on the landscape. Number two, apart from divine conviction, is that there's a way to think pragmatically. Africa has opportunities, but our opportunities are very, very, very interesting. As vast and as big as the opportunities are, the risks are also very heavy. Over the coming days, I'll be sharing a lot of insights about the things that we have seen on the continent. For example, there is huge research, and I will share some of this. I don't want to belabor the point, but there's a huge amount of opportunity in fintechs. For example, in the past 5 years, 1/10 of the revenues of fintechs all over the world came from Africa. 1/10. That is, if $1 was made in fintech, if $10 was made, to make it simpler, 1 out of every $10 came from Africa. Now, Africa has the biggest amount of the younger population that will need fintech services between now and 2030. The volumes of projection, I will share some of the data as we go along, and I can go on and on, industry after industry, sector after sector, the kind of opportunities available in Africa, very huge. But the challenges, we are a volatile continent, and I'm saying that with all sense of intent and seriousness. We have all the VUCA elements in Africa. But it will shock you that if we are not ready, the foreigners will come again and they will dominate or colonize us. Today, China has begun the process to officially own Africa. Very sad what's going on. Very sad. Across the continent, China is doing a superb work of owning opportunities in the continent. We saw the first industrial revolution. We saw the second industrial revolution. We saw the third industrial revolution. We are now approaching the fourth one that has just started. And already we are colonized. I have data, I have information, and these things scare me. The truth is, where we are going now is that we're going to get to the fifth industrial revolution. Many of us may not be alive at the time, and maybe the sixth one. Our grandchildren are already being mortgaged. The opportunities in the sectors are being taken over. Africans need to think about the future. And in history, businesses and individuals take charge in Africa. So we're looking at the future from different perspectives, and we're dovetailing somewhat on fintechs, because whether you do insurtech, agri-tech, anyway, the future is technology. Technology is the future. But whatever tech you do, you will dovetail to collecting the money. And for you to collect the money, it will be by fintech. So which fintech will be the mainstream that everybody will converge to, all the way from property tech or prop techs to health tech to ed tech, which is education technology, to insure tech to agri tech. Everything we dovetail into fintechs. We have no choice than to play very heavily. In the course of the evening today, I will show some data about Africa and FinTechs and what we have. The opportunities are huge. Let me shock you. The amount of money available in the continent for FinTechs, Africa has no business being poor again. That industry alone, Africa has no business being poor again. But I can see the flow, just the same way today India has become the outsourcing base for technology generally. We are about to lose that tide. And what can we do as individuals, and especially kingdom-minded people, to take control of the future? What can we do to correct the future? This is to say, what can we should travel into the future, in quotes, and do some scenario thinking and analysis and come back to take actions today in a way that will be able to profitably engage the future. To lead us in this trail of thought about the role of futurists and futurism in the African business landscapes is a mentor of mine, a coach, my personal coach, when things are really tough and it has to do with any matter of great wisdom, I always consult him. I mean, he does things quietly and I'm always asking him curiously, why did you do that, sir? Why did you do that? What do you think? And since the day I knew him 20-something years ago in Daystar, he's never ceased to amaze me with his willingness to always develop and teach and mentor. Some of us are not very loyal mentees in quotes, but he will always tell me, say, don't worry, just ask your question. Don't worry. How are you? Ask your question. Don't worry, ask your question. And he's always been there for me personally. I absolutely gone round. His heart is the way it is. Gone round, been around different people. He's a marked and a different person. In terms of what he does, there are many businesses I know personally that has helped them to move into the billion naira mark. When they started with him, they were small businesses who operated as in the millions. Today, they are multi-billion naira businesses. If you are in his network to coach or to mentor, I can tell you, blessed are you. Help me to welcome my mentor, my coach, Pastor NIYI ADESANYA. Over to you, sir. Thank you for coming. Who is on his way on a very major trip, and he did. I mean, he's bending over backwards to come and look. He's only, I can call him a man with a father's heart. A father to many of us. Thank you so much. God bless.
Thank you so much, Dr. Adeoye Abodunrin. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. Let me apologize for coming on the platform late, and I'm right now. I'm not even sure whether I'm a futurist or not, because there's something I didn't even see happening right now. Because I thought I was going to travel tomorrow, but luckily for me, I just said, let me look at my ticket. My PA, give me my ticket. And I said I was traveling on Tuesday. And I already given Dr. Adeoye Tuesday to come on the Zoom with him. And then as I'm speaking to you right now, I had to be moving, changing rooms from the VIP lounge to go into the fan lounge, just look for a space that I can be alone to be able to talk. And then what that also means is that I will just probably ask Dr. Abodunrin for probably another session before the time goes and before the week runs out, that I can always come back and then have a settled mind discussion. But I'm still going to talk tonight anyway, a settled mind discussion, because right now they've called my flight, and you know what that means. I will have to delay, probably because of, the class that I'm flying, they will be looking for me. They just hope that they will be looking for me for a while before they move. Anyway, it's a pleasure to be here, and then Pastor Adeoye, Prophet Adeoye, Dr. Adeoye, everything, Professor Adeoye is one of the few minds that I respect so much. I mean, sometimes when he's mentor, I'm wondering, mentor about, because actually when you sit down with David, you realize that he's so full of wisdom, and not just wisdom. I mean, when you know the gift of the Spirit, word of knowledge, word of wisdom, and all that, and even discernment of spirit, he is an embodiment of a futurist, both spiritual, secular, and any way you want to look at it. And is one of the few people that I would like to be in a boardroom when I am thinking. I would like him to be around when I'm about to take up a project and that would involve, I mean, when I'm planning for 10, 20, 50 years, I would like him to be in the boardroom. And then we had some few situations that we were together with some people in their boardroom, and I was just so awed about the kind of information, the kind of revelation that he has. And not just that, he's so vast. You touch on any subject, it's as if you know something. I say, what's this guy? It's like an encyclopedia. Encyclopedia. I mean, that's who he is, and I believe that those of us who want to really know about what the future holds, what could be happening to us as Africans or in the world in the next 50 years, in the next 20 years, in the next 10 years, I think it's going to be advisable for us to be able to connect with David Abodunrin. You need to connect with him. You need to hold on to his apron, because I know he knows what is going to happen in the next 10, 15 years. So quickly, let me just take you through. Since I'm the first person I will speak, what I would do is that I will assume that all of us are coming for this class, what's it called? Futurism 101. That means nobody knows what it is, because we can't just assume that we know what futurism is, who a futurist is, and everything, what it's supposed to do. So we'll just do that elementary background check, and then we'll go on that. And then after that, probably when I come back in one of the sessions, when I get to my destination tomorrow, by the grace of God, then we'll be able to look at all the things about data analysis, all the things about trends, forecasting, and all those things, which is all a futurist should do. Now, who is a futurist? We hear a lot of that. People, I'm particularly somebody that is very reserved when it comes to futurists, but I've come of age to know that these people really exist, and then they are very much needed, especially when you're trying to carve out a future for yourself. Now, they are professionals who specializes in studying and predicting future trends across different domains. It may include technology, economics, politics, environment, society. They use their expertise to help individuals, organizations, and government prepare for future challenges. Not just, well, they do present, but most of them, they do future challenges. Future challenges are not just challenges, but opportunities also. What are the opportunities that you could see? You know, many times we've heard that customers are right, always right. Doesn't matter, listen to the customer so that you can know what they want. A futurist who is going to be with the Lord, that's Steve Jobs. Say customers don't even understand, they don't even know what they want. They don't even know what they want. We have to create what they want for them. And so they went into the future and started creating smartphones and everything like that. They went there, and then look, whoever has the answers for today can have the bread for today, but it is not guaranteed to have the bread for tomorrow. It is the guy who has the answers for tomorrow, or who has the right questions to ask for tomorrow, that is guaranteed of the future. And that is why you need a futurist, because they can help you predict trends. They can go through data. We'll talk about that, data analysis. I mean, there is nothing, there's no strategic meeting you can ever hold in your life without data and statistics. And then the futurists are people who are given to that. They study it, they analyze it, they go through it every now and then they are professionals, first of all, and then their job is to predict the future trends. That's very important. And then what futurism? A field of studies or practice that explore future possibilities and trends by analyzing current data and societal patterns. Now, when you want to study societal patterns, it's not just about societal patterns of your generation. You go to multitude of more generations before you. Remember the COVID-19 pandemic? whatever solution that we got for the COVID-19 pandemic was more like the solutions that they had in the 1918 the Spanish flu that happened there. The mask, the isolation, and all those things. They studied the pattern of viruses like that or flus like that to be able to come up with what they predicted to us that we should do. Did it work or not? That is a discussion for another day. And then that's what this is all about. Now, when we talk about the strategic roles of futurists, which as far as I'm concerned, I believe Adeoye Abodunrin is, if he's not number one, he's top 1% in that field. Top 1% in that field. We sit down under him to take over in 10 years. What's happening in 10 years' time? What are the data saying? What are the trends? We sit down and I ask him a lot. And then sometimes when we're in the UK, we hang out together and I'm just picking his brain. Because he's more of a futurist than I am. I'm more of a very logical, go get the job done. But once he supplies me the data, the trends, and let me know where I'm supposed to go, I move. Now, the strategic roles of futurists, like I said, I'm going to make this very, very brief and smart because you don't want me to miss my flights out of Nigeria. So, good. The number one strategic role is that they anticipate market trends. They anticipate market trends. And how do they do this? They analyze data and trends to forecast future development in the market. Now, particularly in the African market, they analyze all those trends and then data and trends to be able to come at that. Number two, also informed strategic decision making. Informing strategic decision making. Now, you need a futurist to be in your room, in your strategic meeting, your boardroom meeting, for them to give you the informed strategic decision making. They inform it. Their role is to give you the data analyzed and the market trends. So when you're in a room and then you don't have somebody who has all that, the likelihood that your strategy will be future-proof is very, 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 very minimal. That is if there is even going to be any future-proof. You know, sometimes we can just be in the meeting and we are having lofty ideas, but those lofty ideas does not have any trend analysis or strategic input of what the future could be like. Now, also, one of their role is to ensure that they manage risk and uncertainty. Because they can see into the future, they can analyze the future through the trend and data and statistics. They can tell you where to turn, whether to turn right or to turn left. At this junction, this is what we need to be doing in 5 years' time. At this time, 10 years' time, this is what we should be thinking about doing. And that is what they do. And then when you have somebody like that who can let you know what 5 years, 10 years looks like, you know what, it reduces the uncertainty as much as possible. I mean, you know, you have the VUCA world. A futurist is needed for this VUCA world that we are in right now. Volatile, uncertain, what's it called? Whatever it is, VUCA.
Complex and ambiguous.
And then you need ambiguous worlds. You need a futurist to be able to get you to that level. And then again, one of the things that they also, strategic role that they need to play is that they must foster innovation. Innovation. That is why you see people like Apple, those people who are churning out product after product that you don't even know that you need it until they bring it out. They have a whole lot of futurists in that meeting. Their product team, they have futurists, people who think ahead, people who know the way these people are talking, these ages, 19 to 25 are talking, the way they are thinking, the way they are dressing, this is likely where they will end. So if this is likely where they will end, we need to be building more 2-bedroom apartments, not terraces, not 5-bedroom apartments, because these ones don't want to live with all their family members. You know, those days when our fathers built houses, uncles will come and stay, cousins will come and stay, everybody will come and stay. But now, you know now that nobody wants anybody to come and stay. It's me and my wife. Sometimes I don't even want my children to stay. You know, that is where we're going right now. So those predictions are necessary to foster the kind of rooms, the kind of buildings, or the kind of things that you need to do. And then also promoting sustainable development. Like for me, I always tell people this, and then if you know me very well, I'm not so interested. I'm interested in your success right now, very much interested, but I'm much more interested in how you will look in the next 10, 15, 20 years. What will it look like? Will you be like the Yorubas will say, Olowa no? Or we'll say you are, the rich man of yesterday? Or we'll say, no, he's going stronger and stronger by the day. There is no better last year for him. So if that is the case, a futurist helps you attain that sustainability matrix and help you know that this is what can sustain you in getting to that point. Now, when we talk about future, we're talking about market entry strategy. Some of us who want to enter the new market, you need a futurist to be able to tell you how to enter. Want to enter a new market, you want to go in with a new product, or you want to compete with people who are already there with the same product. Well, how do I penetrate this market? How do I get some chunk of a little bit of the market share from the dominant players in the field? How do I get a piece of the pie? That is where you need a futurist. And again, many times when we go for retreats, I'm having a retreat. That's one of the reasons why I'm going. My trip started now. I'll be in London, then I'll do Doha and Singapore. We're having a global think tank retreat with some of my clients. And then look, what are we going to do? What are we going to be doing? Scenario planning. We need to be able to, especially in Africa, especially in Nigeria, we need to preempt what Tinubu and Edu and Cardoso may be trying to do in the next 3, 4, 5, 10 years. We need to be able to play the scenario, both the good one, the bad one, different kind of scenario. We need to touch each and different parts: politics, environment, the economy. I mean, we need to sit down there. And most of the time when you're in such gathering, and that's what you need, a futurist to be able to drive such conversations. Because once those people sit down together, they come up with a lot of ideas. And the futurist, that because they are equipped with the data trend, the market trends, the trends that are very relevant right now, and the statistics, they know how to drive such conversation. And then while I was there, I heard Adeoye say a lot of things about technology. Look, technology adoption is one of the critical roles of a futurist, to let you know what are we going to be adopting, what is going to disrupt us. We are hearing a lot about AI, the robots and everything. It's scary, but it will be scary if you have a well-informed futurist, whether on your payroll or as a contractor or as a consultant. I mean, you're good. What you just need to do is saddle the responsibility and let him come up with a lot of ideas, and then we'll take it off from there. So technology adoption is also the example of some of the things that a futurist will definitely be doing. And guys, the strategic role of a futurist in Africa especially is still emerging. It's still emerging. We're not even there yet. But thank God that people like him didn't just stay in Nigeria. They have gone to learn more abroad, and then they are moving up with mind. And then, in the developed world, the work of a futurist is more or less accepted and embraced. For those of us in Africa, it's an opportunity for us to learn. It's an opportunity for us to brush up ourselves and put ourselves in that space where we can help. Because look, no matter the trend that a white man or somebody from the Western world has about us, they really don't understand us like we will understand ourselves. They really don't. Yeah, because you know what? In their own economy is a credit economy. In our own economy is a cash economy. When you hear somebody abroad who say, I've built 10 houses, I have 10 houses, they've not finished paying for 10. They've not even finished paying for one. It's mortgage. But when you hear a Nigerian say that I have 10 houses, yes, he has paid 100% of the 10 houses. There is no one. So when you look at that, if they are coming from there, because some of them were born into the credit system, they grew into the credit system, they really may not understand what we're going through in this part of the world. So that tells you that if you quickly embrace this 1 week that we're going to be having with Adeoye Abodunrin, and you learn a lot of things, I don't know whether you have a coaching class on this or training on this, and you put yourself in there, you will take the space here and be able to help us predict our future as businessmen in Nigeria, in Africa. So please let us take this opportunity and be part of this. And one thing about this futurism and everything, and sometimes, what I just read out here, what I just touched right here, are just the rudiment, and then the 101, I mean, like the basics. But then, how do you become an outstanding futurist? How do you become somebody that is respectable in that field? Number one, get involved with somebody who is already in that field, who understands the game. How do a tree become a tree? The tree became a tree because of the fruit that came out from another tree. How did the fruit come out? The fruit came out from a branch that came out from the tree. How did the branch come out? The branch came out from the stem of the tree. Do you understand? Yes. So you need to be part of a tree. After you're part of it, you become a branch. After you become a branch, you now grow the fruit. After you've grown the fruit, they now plug the fruit. They now plant the seed before you can now become a tree. So that's the process. Before you say, okay, I want to become a futurist, get yourself in the room with futurists. You begin to see things, like the Bible, when Samuel, I think in 1 Samuel chapter 10, and they say Samuel also part of the prophets, because he said, is this Saul? Samuel told him that when you leave here right now, you will be with the prophet, and then you will prophesy. So you will prophesy with them. But he didn't prophesy until he got into the midst of the prophet. In other words, you may not be a very outstanding futurist until you put yourself in that space where you have Ubunge futurists, people who have done tremendously well when it comes to prediction of the future, when it comes to prediction of trends, and they have data and statistics. I mean, they wake up with data and statistics. And then that is where we need to go. The beautiful thing about it is that the opportunities are opening up in Africa. So we need to plug in quickly. A futurist from abroad does not understand our pain. They don't understand us very well. They don't know what it takes to pay 2 years' rent. And they don't understand it very well. They don't understand how you will send mail like 10 times and people will not read it and they will say you have not sent it. They don't understand how when you get a call, you have to return the call. They don't understand when meeting is called for 9, people come for 11. They don't understand that. All those things are disorderliness, but that is still the African way that we are. So it takes somebody who understands our pain to actually take us to the future, provided he understands the trends and he has the statistics to give us a proper analysis of where 10 years will look like and 20 years will look like. At this point, I think I would stop, and then probably before the whole program is out or after the whole program, I will have an opportunity to spend more time with us, because right now this is a rushed teaching, rushed program, and God will help us. Thank you. Doctor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Awesome time. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Thank you. I'm excited. Thank you for the introduction. And like I always say, God bless you. On behalf of all of us, we also wish you a safe journey. Everyone, let me unmute to tell Pastor Nee, safe journey, safe journey, safe journey.
Safe journey, sir.
Thank you. Sir. Thank you, sir.
God bless you.
God
Thank you
bless
so
you.
much.
God bless you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
Have a
And
safe trip, sir.
yes,
God bless
yes,
you,
yes.
Man, thank you.
Yes, yes. And we're doing a futurism school from the next month. We want to actually grow because Africa has a lot, and thank you for that. We're actually going to make this much more deeper across industries, and when that time comes. But you're coming back again this week once you land in the UK. We'll certainly see, sir.
Okay, allow me run before I miss my flight. Eh?
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Permission granted.
Yes, totally granted. Have a safe trip, sir. Thank you.
God bless you.
Yes, you too. Thank you, sir. All right, thank you, personally. We appreciate and we celebrate you. Personally has done remarkable work about who a futurist is, what is futurism, and why we're doing what we're doing. I would just like to share with you some pieces of information about Africa. And I'm interested. I mean, this is a whole report, as you probably can see. Oh no, you can't see my screen here. Sorry, I thought I was sharing. Sorry about that. Just let me know when you see my screen. Can you see my screen? Hello?
Yes, sir.
You can see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Can see your screen.
this is comprehensive report. As a futurist, like Pastor Nee said, we don't do prophecy. I mean, prophecy is one of the gifts of a futurist. Maybe I should backtrack on that. So there are different kinds of futurists. We're going to have a question and answer session that's going to be anchored by Toby and Adeola. And I'm sorry I removed the sister. I mean, this is not the church. I'm used to sister here, but they are also professionals who are skilled in this area. One of the assignments of a futurist is to create. I hope everyone can see me. Hello.
Yes, sir, we can.
Yes.
Okay. Is to give information. I will talk a little bit about the spiritual basis of futurism and the intellectual basis, but just from where Pastor Nee stopped, there's a lot of analysis that's been done about FinTechs, for example, some heavy work that I have done over the past few months. One of the things that we did in the MBA course I went for at Holt was about the science of the future, because I specifically went to global MBA because of that, but let's leave all of that for now. I just want to show you one piece of data about Africa. This is current penetration of some African markets. It exceeds global benchmarks. FinTech penetration in some African markets exceeds global benchmarks. The global benchmark, Africa is doing far better. For Nigeria, for Ghana, the whole of Africa, excluding South Africa and Kenya, these economies have shown remarkable excess of what the benchmark of FinTech is across the African continent. The same for United States, same for United Kingdom, but Africa is not doing badly in and of itself. But that's not even where I'm going to. The global revenues for FinTechs, for example, by Vantage Market Research says we're at 133.84 billion. Industry Act 220 billion. CEO Magazine says we have 305.7 billion. This is the one that the growth rate is projected to be 18.5 by Vantage. This is cumulated annual gross revenue, annual growth rate, I beg your pardon, and that's from 2023 to 2030 it will grow by 18.5. Industry Act says the same thing. That is not yet where I'm going to. This is the one that is blowing my mind. African FinTechs today accounts for 1/10 of the global fintech revenue. This is a 104-page research work of research that I did with a couple of gentlemen around futurism. I love looking to the future, and let me tell you about Africa. And this is not the only. What is making my heart beat very fast, that the current narrative we have in Africa can be reversed. This is not the only story Africa has. We are bigger than this. The African fintech industry is experiencing a surge in both revenue and growth. And this is fueled by a young and tech-savvy population increasingly turning to digital financial solutions, growing demand for financial inclusion and access to essential financial services. Why am I starting from here? Finance is the gateway into the soul of the kingdoms of the earth. There is no economy. There is no group of persons. There is no entity that finance is not the gateway into that economy. And let me just say this to further amplify the thought in your mind. Listen, my good friends, Africa and anybody at all, you measure them by their financial prosperity. The current revenue estimates in Africa is 20 to 30 billion. And that was for 2023, according to the various reports by organizations like Brita Bridges, Global Data, and McKinsey & Company. Again, what is busting my mind? 30 to 40% cumulated average growth rate. Sorry, accumulated growth rate. That's the projected growth rate by several analysts, suggesting that the industry could reach $80 billion to $120 billion by 2025. This is Africa. Some even predict a more optimistic scenario of $230 billion by 2027, highlighting the immense potential of African fintech. Today, Africa accounts for 1/10 of the global fintech revenues. That's the number in Africa today. This is busting my mind. I mean, this is a whole body of research, and we're looking at market projections, what would drive success and all of that. And these I've done across a couple of industries, and I'm still working on them. But I'm telling you that there is sufficient opportunity for greatness within Africa, and particularly in fintechs, the opportunities are immense. And there is no reason for poverty. There is no reason. You see, poverty is man-made. When God created the universe, he created it to have abundance of opportunities. Poverty is man-made. And some persons must take responsibility for owning the revival of Africa. This is why this is free. We should put money behind it, but no need. Many people need to know where the light is. What is the direction of the wind? Where is the future? What would be the drivers? And look, there are many noise. I'm an engineer by original training, so there is noise and there is voice. There's so much noise in town. There are many people who are winds without rain. Don't let that discourage you about the name Futurists or Futurism, or about who has substance or not. All I'm telling you is that there is bread in the continent, and we have no business being poor. And in my introduction, I said we saw the first industrial revolution, we saw the second industrial revolution, we saw the third one. Africa is about to be colonized again. Already we're being colonized. And I'm going to be talking about this in very interesting ways as we go along over the next 4 or 5 days. But I'm sharing with you that there is a lot of opportunity, but you need to know where the opportunities are. All the way from regulatory to talent. And that's why we have Oyukosola Emmanuel, who will be sharing with us the talent imperative for African fintechs in the course of the week. In the regulatory sphere, there's a lot of opportunity, because wherever there is a lot of power and there's no control, a crash is imminent. Like we say in aviation and in engineering, the rule of control, the rule of any sophistication or improvement is control. Power is useless except it is controlled. Power is useless. I mean, to take off is not the problem in aviation, landing is the challenge. to take off is not a problem. Before you take off, ensure that you can land. In life and in business and anything, in futurism, make sure that you can land. We have a big market opportunity in Africa, but regulation is still troublesome. And that's why we have Professor, Professor and Dr. Emeka Azinge from the Lagos Business School to lead us about the regulatory imperatives and how there's a lot of opportunity in regulation across Africa. And particularly, someone speaking, particularly in Nigeria. We also have coming to speak to us about spiritual intelligence for the future and what is the Lord saying about finance. Surely, I think it's Amos chapter 7 that says, shall evil enter a city and the Lord not know about it? I think the preceding verse says, the lion has roared, who cannot but heard? The Lord has spoken, who cannot but prophesy? Shall the Lord do anything in a city without telling his servants the prophets? Surely the God of heavens will not do anything without telling his servants the prophets. Shall even enter a city without the Lord knowing about it? Surely shall the Lord do anything without telling his servants the prophet? There are people who God always tells direction. I mean, the king of Assyria, I think he was, or was the king of Israel, who was like, who is leaking our secret? And they said there's one called Elisha, beg your pardon, who has the Spirit of God, and everything in your chambers is even telling everybody. I believe we're in the day of futurism and futurists, particularly every African who is serious about their future must have a futurist. At individual levels, at corporate levels, you need to have someone to help you think about your future. You cannot leave your future to chance. You can't afford to let things be lesser faire, sera. You must think through your future and work on your futurism muscles so that you don't become an ex-champion. You heard what Pastor Nee said. You don't want to become an ex-rich man. You don't want to become someone who was once successful. And we will be working closely with as many persons who are available to help bet the future of a continent. I am optimistic that the land of the midday sun, which is Africa, will rise again. I'm telling you from data. I'm not telling you, I have what is in the spirit. I have information about what God is saying, but I'm also a man of numbers and practicalities. I have practical data across an intelligent bodies of understanding. This is not fluke. I just showed you 104 pages of material only about FinTechs. There are other things that are deep. And this is not one of those meetings where we just want to come and do abracadabra, just speak in tongues and do empty stuff. And by the way, I'm not saying speaking in tongues is empty. I'm only saying that there's a lot of fluff in town, a lot of noise. This is not one of those noisy meetings. We really are serious about putting the till on the ground. It's taken us some years to come out in the open. It is because we were paying our due diligence. The Lord shall help us. I'm sorry, I will always use scriptures. God bless you. I will leave the floor open for questions. Pastor is not here, but I can take some of his questions. Also, we have two interesting friends in the house. Toby, who is a very professional broadcaster and celebrated producer and filmmaker. Adeola would be leading us in a proper question and answer session about futurism and futurists and their roles. By the way, you need to have a futurist. I have my own futurists and futurist communities. And number two, I'm a futurist to many at individual levels, at career levels, and at business levels. You need to be in the till. The future will happen. Oh. Today was like Nkosla said, today was the yesterday. Today was once the future you thought about yesterday. In like manner, the future would come. You can either approach it by by prophecy and faith, or by some intelligence and proper planning. All right, thank you. I'll take questions now. By the way, Adeola and Toby, please identify yourselves. Put on your videos. I would like you to lead the question and answer session. So I'll hand over to Adeola and Toby right now. Adeola already is a co-host. Toby, are you on the call? I know we spoke earlier on. Toby, Shola, Abiola, yeah. Hello, Toby. Unmute your microphone and put on your video. You guys are cool. You're anchoring the question and answer sessions because I know there'll be a lot of questions.
Okay.
Yeah,
thank
Adeola,
you so much for.
Yeah, thank you. Adeola is also on the call. Let me.
Hi, Adeola.
Adeola, are you there? Adeola Shukojo. Oh, I think maybe I internet. Okay, Toby, over to you.
Okay.
But it's preferable, please, Toby, special request. Put your video on. Except you absolutely must be on audio alone.
Yes, sir, please.
Okay. So let's go on audio then. That's fine.
Thank you so much.
Please, first of all, should I ask questions? Let me ask them to ask their question. Go ahead.
It's been such an insightful session, brief but very, very insightful from Pastor NIYI Adesanya. If we have questions in-house, can we have our hands raised? And can we raise our hands? Then we'll unmute and take the questions one after the other. Anything regarding to the trends in your industry, questions that may have bugged your mind when you saw the theme, or anything particularly related to the future, basically. You may kindly raise your hands if you have any questions. Okay. Anyone? Hi, Adeola.
Adeola,
Hi,
welcome.
Adeola. Welcome.
Yeah.
Please put on your video. We want your video to be on.
The thing is that, I mean, darkness here, NEPA. So, and I don't want noise from,
Okay.
So that,
don't worry. That's fine. Please don't say NEPA. They've changed their name.
PHCN.
PHCN.
Please go ahead.
All right. What am I? Okay, this is where we ask questions.
Yes. Coordinate questions and also ask questions.
All right. Okay. A couple of things that you said that are very, very germane and do catch my attention. You said that Africa has no business being poor. Which is on that, because I mean, when you think of how the world see us and how sometimes we see ourselves, a developing nation, poverty seems to be what is attributed to Africa. But you said that based on information, data, Africa has no business being poor. Can we start from there and just talk about that?
Yes, let me give you, I mean, any assertion I make with intelligence. There is no mineral, for example, in the world that's been used for the development of the developed world that is not available in Africa. Only very few. Nigeria has every single known mineral in the universe today. I'm looking for that piece of data. I used to have all of this. I mean, some of them can get you very frustrated if you see some of the pictures. This continent has 40% of the world's gold and 90% of its chromium and platinum. The largest reserves of cobalt, diamonds, platinum, uranium in the world are in Africa. It holds 65% of the world's arable land and 10% of the planet's internal renewable freshwater source. 65% of the world's arable land, that's agriculture, or land that you can use that is good. No landslide, no problems. We have 65% in Africa. That's almost 70%. And 10% of the planet's internal renewable freshwater source is in Africa. I can give you data. Let me see whether I can share my screen. Let me see what I can show you. Just a minute. I'm trying to pull it up my system because I've done some very strong research on this. I can go country by country and show you the map of Africa's mineral deposits. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I mean, you can get this on Google. You don't take my word for it. You can actually look for it yourself, and you would agree with me. Let me share my screen. Africa has no business being poor. Somebody say Africa.
Africa
has no business.
No business.
Being poor.
Being poor.
Say it's actually man-made.
It's actually man-made.
The poverty in Africa is man-made. I hope you guys can see my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Can you see the whole of Africa? That's the map of Africa. Can you see? Can you see?
Yes, we can.
Can you see? That's it. That's the mineral deposit.
We can. Yes, we can.
Yeah. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Diamonds, gold, coffee, grains, gold, uranium, iron ore, crude oil, copper, aluminium, platinum. If you go to the Horn, if you go towards the Horn, the data is amazing. I can show you other ones, by the way. I know this for a fact. If you just do a desk research, look at it. Just look at it. This is desk. This is just me checking my Google, friends. Just look at what Africa has. Where is that one I clicked? That one even shows ratios. This is it. This is the one I'm looking for. Africa's natural resources sector. This one. Yeah. I'm going to show you data shortly. Look at it. That's Africa for you. I'm looking for the map. Look at it. More detailed map. This is all online. Iron, bauxite, zinc, gold, gypsum, sulfur, stream, Botswana, diamonds, uranium, the percentage, everything is just do desk. Someone's audio. Admin, let me look for that person. Someone's audio is. Adeola, your internet is acting up. Okay, so, and let me tell you this. Let me rub it in. Nigeria has no business being poor. Nigeria has the biggest, top 2 or 3 biggest gas deposits in the world. And we are flaring 90-something%. Maybe it has changed now since we have a Nigerian liquefied natural gas, NLNG. Maybe it's changed, but I mean, that's what the West uses to be successful. But Africans are still fighting each other for landed property. People are still doing cut and gang up and down, carrying cutlass everywhere. Just young people in Africa are still enamored by nonsense. I'm sorry, I'm using those words, but the wealth in our ground.
I'm delivering food.
Is sufficient to make us very rich. Hello? Oh, brother. Okay. All right. Talk to me. Adeola, you were asking a question. So I hope I convinced you that we have no business being poor. Any other questions? That's just from a minerals perspective. Industrialization uses those things. If you want to manufacture TV, all the elements of manufacture will use the raw materials. What people use to manufacture and how they develop their nation is in Africa. Just create the factories beside where the plantation or where the natural occurring mineral is and start manufacturing in Africa. That is all it takes. That is the gap between us and prosperity. It's not rocket science. But in between corruption, massive stupidity, forgive my English, because when I say the word stupid, that does, I mean, it's a range on the IQ. Don't let me get emotional. I can get emotional on this. But it's not rocket science. We got diamond, we got gold, we got bitumen, we got everything used to manufacture industrialization, everything you use to create wealth. It's in Africa. So that's a question that touched me. I'm sorry about that. Okay,
okay.
Yep.
It's funny because you speak so loftily about Africa and Nigeria. And so the same question Adeola asked would delve into the leadership question. We have so many things that are to be in our advantage, but then the question would be the leadership. Now, what role does the Futurists play in ensuring that the leaders of Africa take the continent to where it is meant to be?
It's very important. I mean, the most developed the most developed nations of the world use futurists. The most developed nations of the world have established futurists. I mean, there are about 15 types of futurists, and no serious leader can travel into the future without futurists. The United States, the United Kingdom, there are very strong established futurists all over the world. Africa is where we're just catching up to the science of it. And then there's a lot of noise also in Africa, people with no substance, and they're already using the name, and then you wonder, and then you're even tired of even calling yourself a futurist because already the name sounds somehow. Then somebody now has duped somebody the name of futurism, not consulted effectively for one business, not done anything serious, don't have any real tools to work with or any capacity to work with, and then you're wondering, what are you futurizing? So yes, every African, Nelson Mandela had his own futurist. Every African leader needs a futurist or a certain kind of skill set to think about the future. Number two, the will to listen to the futurists and to implement the solutions, because there are different shades, types, and sides of futurism. The industry has different typologies, and you cannot use energy or just pick one side. For a leader of a country or the continent, it has to be a concerted effort and requires holistic thinking and the will to listen to your futurists. Yeah.
All right. I'd like to ask a question.
Yeah.
Where is the place of spirituality in terms of futurism, religion? Because again, there are some things that you can get bad data, all the information that with that you're able to sum up futuristic or sum up upcoming trends or direction that the world will be going to. But there are some things that we cannot explain. So where is the place of religion and prophecy in futurism, and how can business owners and professional individuals harness that information for the betterment of their companies and their personal career growth? Because and that's pretty much you will find places in the Bible that where you find that it was germane information that nobody can really sum up. In the case of Joseph, had a dream. So, of course, told Pharaoh, 7 years of plenty, 7 years of
Go on.
Seems our network is acting up.
Sorry about that. Okay, let me try and answer. Adeoye, your internet is acting up. Your internet is acting up.
So I believe you had like an idea of the question she was asking.
Yes. I just wanted to be sure so I don't. There are different kinds of futurists. And there are inspired futurists, or the ones that have the capabilities of the Holy Spirit in terms of the dimensioning of God's power, in terms of the gifts of the Spirit, or ability to hear from God, to actually do their futurism work. Daniel 2:22 says that God reveals deep and secret things. There are 4 categories. There's not deep, not secret. There is deep but not secret. There's secret but not deep. Then there is deep and secret things. So what God does is that he reveals deep and secret things. And those who have deep and secret things will command competitive advantage. So where the general insights of the average futurist stops, an inspired futurist starts from there and can give you added superior advantage or competitive advantage. The truth is, there are inspired or God-gifted futurists who are, in quote, prophets or the apostolic or prophetic ministry, who are able to see pioneering grace, and they are able to know within a range of data sets that this one, I mean, what futurism and data analysis does and scenario planning is like, that's the best. It will give you scenarios. At the best of statistical understanding, He will also tell you probability of occurrence. He will also tell you how close you are. He can even give you domains where you can be wrong, plus or minus one. Statisticians understand what I'm saying. But when you're an inspired futurist or someone that has the power of the Holy Spirit, or you are a gifted futurist as a child of God, or as a believer, and I believe there's also the room for these kind of believers to arise across the different industries and spheres of influence. And one of our assignments is to groom and to train and to teach and coach to help many believers also enter into those offices in and of themselves too. Not only do this for other people. So there is the place where the Holy Spirit can actually give you beyond the realms of data further insight, and you are correct. But please, until your futurism capacities, even if you are a gifted futurist or one who God has inspired, until it is ascertained on the ground or there is result, be careful about coming out in the open. Don't break people's hearts. Don't go and futurize when you are not sure. And don't use God has told us to lie to people to follow you. You are only one prediction away from losing credibility. Be careful. It's better to stay with statistics and mathematics and understanding of the trends and stay in that trend. But if you are but the world needs inspired futurists as we go into the future, because uncertainty is very high. Wherever uncertainty is very high, we need uncertainty managers or risk managers or risk thinkers who are able to act in a way that collectively we are saved. Now, blessed are you if you have one in your company who has inspiration. Paul the Apostle said in Acts 27, he said, "Brethren, I perceive this journey laden with a lot of challenges, and that we should not sail." But Bible says that they listened to the shipmaster and the technical crew, and because everything was calm, they set sail. Bible says not long after, Paul the Apostle himself, writing the account, said a southeasterly wind called Euroclydon suddenly came upon us. He says so much fierce was the storm that we despaired of life. They lost all their goods, and they now started listening to Paul as their futurist now. They listened to him. He said they wanted to jump into the water. I said, don't jump into the water, stay here. They now began to listen. So some people will suffer disaster, and I'm sorry to say that way, of misfortunes before they will begin to recognize the role of inspired futurists. But out of many candidate opportunities, when the statisticians are done, you need inspired futuristic thinkers or people who have ability to also hear God if you're a believer, to give you what the possible, because the stakes are high. When you're going to drop your money and your future in a certain direction, you got to do all the due diligence possible, and you should actually hire a futurist. And specifically, blessed are you when your futurist is an inspired futurist. And the use cases are there. We can call on people on the call who can give us examples of this in their own lives and their careers and how this has worked for them.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Do we have questions from the audience? Please kindly raise your hands or hand so we can unmute you. Any questions, thoughts, contributions, regarding this conversation?
Is Adeola back?
Adeola isn't.
Oh. Any questions? Or everything is clear? Or feedback or contributions?
Okay, so moving on. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. Adebayo Ajibola, over to you, please.
Yes, I was just going to, agreeing with what Pastor said. There was a question asked earlier about the place of spirituality. I don't know if I got that correctly.
Yep.
The place of spirituality in futurism and all of that. When it is authentic, it's actually needed. It plays a very important role. Speaking from the perspective of a recipient of spiritual guidance and prophecy. I would, if I had the power, I would highly recommend that nations start looking for genuine prophets. You know what I mean? Those are valid futurists we can bank on. Speaking from my perspective, I am still alive today because, you know, of what I've gained, what I've enjoyed in that regard, career-wise and all of that, you know. So just to buttress what had been said earlier.
Please share one or two experiences personally, especially with us
there
here.
are a lot. I don't know which comes, which is top of mind now. Okay. There was a time I was going to give up whatever it was I was doing. I don't want to disclose, you know, but it was prophecy. Then what I do as a speaker, you know, I wasn't sure. I wasn't clear before I met Pastor. I'm talking about 24 years ago. So someone comes from the United States, prays with me just for 2 minutes and says, "Oh, the Lord says you should speak." Never met me before, never, you know. And this was a business that would change my life and my lineage, you know. Then I meet Pastor and he says, "Oh, okay, not just once, not twice, a lot of times. Oh, do this. Why don't you do this? Go for this profession. Go for that profession." And I'm telling you that it has worked, of course, more effectively than that of soothsayers, those who read palms and all those things. So, I mean, it's going to be difficult for anyone. It's not even possible for anyone to change my mind when it comes to.
You went on mute.
I don't know if I've said anything meaningful today, but I have myself and my family, not just me, my family and a few other people that I've witnessed, you know, who have been led and given prophecy on, okay, invest in this. Prophecy isn't just about power of someone's father's house dying. Invest here, withdraw from these people, do this and do that. Take this course. I mean, as little as some of those things may sound, you know, take a course in this, take a course in that, you know, and it has really helped us. So
Actionable intelligence.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me just say this. If you want to quantify in terms of finances, like how much do you think one would lose, or you would have lost theoretically, in terms of the guidance of futurism that you've received? Inspired, let's call it inspired futurism.
Since okay, from the beginning before I met you, maybe
let's even say since we started interacting.
Okay, since we started interacting, over $100,000. Over.
And look,
over $100,000, and you know that's I'm trying to be modest, you know. I'm mentioning figures with caution.
Moderation.
Moderation.
Let people not think that the money is physical cash, but just looking at opportunities forgone. The bigger point, and thank you for that.
It's over quarter of a million, because it's as if the tab just opened. So
I understand.
Yes,
people are losing advantage that they could have by not embracing inspired futurism. And I wish that I can easily noise this on the roof, but not for today. But thank you, brother Ajibola. Thank you, Adebola. Sorry, Toby, you are the one leading. Oh, please don't let me hijack the meeting.
Okay. So we have Adebola Babatunde raise his hand, so we'll unmute you. I've asked you to unmute, please. Adebola Babatunde.
All right.
Great.
Thank you, everyone. Let me try and on my video. Thank you, Pastor Adeoye, and thank you for all the contributions we've had. Mine is not a question, but just to underscore the importance of futurism as it relates to investment decision making. I learned about this. I don't have so much depth of understanding in this regard, but it's one of the things I came across while getting my certification for corporate governance. Now, there's economists will know this much better. There's something called bounded rationality. And the theory is simple, which I would like just to highlight. The theory posits that human beings, we are cognitively constrained, and because of that, these constraints, it impacts on our decision making. And also, difficult problems later on will reveal the constraints and also highlight their significance. So the impact of this is that to make an investment, for instance, you have done market research, you have done your cost analysis, you've done all sorts of background information you're supposed to get. You have made your projections. Okay, by the time we launch this product, this is what will happen. By year 1, we're supposed to get this. In year 3, we should be playing at this level in the industry. But there could be just one single factor that will turn around the whole situation by the time you hit the market. And you may not know that because of the limits of our cognition. For instance, by January 15, 2020, those who have planned mega programs, with fiscal conferences, that you are going to launch this product, you are going to do this, by ending of March, everybody could see where the world was going, which we never thought of before. But I also tell you that if not that I was very much younger when I heard of that prophecy of that COVID. I heard of the prophecy of COVID sometimes late 1980s. I was in church then. It was the church I grew up in CST, and then the founder of that church, not as video, she used to give some terrifying prophecies that, going to videos for me was traumatic. But she'll be giving detailed, and I could relate it to COVID because she mentioned flu, and she mentioned that a similar thing happened in 1920s. It was when it happened that the light opened up in my head that my mom mentioned this thing those years, but you can imagine late 1980s, how old was I? Was on that thing. So I wouldn't have remembered it. But now bringing it back to the subject at hand, there are some things that beyond all our technological advancement, beyond our academic learning, beyond our business experience, there's that factor that we don't always take care of, which futurism is what will help us to do it. That's the point I want to make. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your contribution. You're mute, sir.
Thank you so much for that. Awesome. Thank you for that. So somebody saw COVID many years before. Thank you so much for that. All right. Toby, over to you.
Okay, so while he was speaking, I realized also that government policies that are a determining factor in understanding our businesses or moving forward in business. When you speak about futurists, what's the correlation between that and policies affecting our businesses? Because using styrofoam, for instance, as an example here in Lagos, where one day we just woke up and found out that a government policy has altered a business. How then do we move on as business owners, as entrepreneurs, when we think about the general landscape of doing business across the world? Sir, you're mute.
That's why we're having this session with Dr. Emeka Azinge of the LBS around the regulatory issues, for example, in FinTech, and how that is, well, how and why that's a business opportunity and how that place will pan out. Let me say this again categorically. Futurists are able to look into the future. For example, regulation will be a major issue in FinTechs between now and the next 10 years. Some big FinTechs will lose their money, they will lose their capital base, and they will end up in jail because of regulatory challenges. That is not their fault. Now, as an inspired futurist, I can see that. And how it will play out, I think I understand it. But then, because there's a big opportunity there and there's a lot of career opportunities there, and nobody should miss Professor Emeka's session, by the way, or any of the sessions this week, this is why we have called him in. So that's how a futurist as inspired works. From the statistical analysis, there is some data and some issues with regulation. But beyond what data is saying, regulation will be a big issue in FinTechs in Africa. I saw that in my spirit as part of the capacities in my spirit. And that is one of the issues with that. There'll be arbitrary regulations that is not rooted in understanding. For anyone who puts their money into a FinTech, or anyone that's going to be transacting business with the mobile phone, you need to be aware of how regulation will play in the FinTech market or industry. There's some data on the table to suggest, but beyond that, there's an imprint in my spirit that to be deep. So if you are able to have this strategic advantage, and then you call in a knowledge man or someone that has understanding of that particular industry, who is a lawyer and professional in that space specifically, if you call that person into the room, they can give you the touch points and the things to be aware about. So that's one use case of futurists within the context of policies, to know how the landscape and behavior will pan out, to know how governance and the trend in governance, and to know how to actually position yourself and as a business or an individual. The other thing is that blessed are governments that employ or engage futurists to help them to craft policies, because to theirs belong future prosperity and success of their citizens. Many government policies are done in typically a narrow fashioned way, some consultation with stakeholders, but there's a lot of gap, so that they are self-correcting later in the future. And there are lots of examples. So those are the use cases of futurists, and how futurists can help government officials or governance to do better laws, to promulgate better laws that give further opportunities and keep capital safe. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for that insightful contribution. Adelaja Emmanuel, I would ask you to unmute in a second. Okay, so over to you, please. Adelaja Emmanuel.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Hope you can hear me. I'm sorry I'm driving, but I'm sure you can hear what I'm saying. Hopefully the noise of... I just wanted to, for some reason, I've been in meetings I couldn't attend from the beginning, but I just wanted to point some things out that Pastor has been talking about. I heard Brother Jibola when he was making his statement. And what I want to say, because I heard one of our sisters asking questions about spirituality, the religion, and church. And sir, if we look at statistics, the leading nations of this world are not as religious as we are in Africa.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the economy is booming because they paid attention to data. You know, at times, spirituality becomes a source of laziness for Africans because they think God will do it. God will do it. And the things you're supposed to pay attention to data. You are doing a business. Every business has its own downtime. So when you see a downtime, Christian will just say, no, I'm not going to suffer. this business is not the right one for me. But all these countries have stayed with their businesses. And something was posted last time, and the first 7 nations in the world, they don't have as many churches as we have in Africa, and they're still leading. When people are in the factory working, I'm a Christian, born again, I speak in tongues, so I'm not trying to push down what we're doing. I'm just trying to say we also need to pay attention to all this data and statistics. There are churches in America that the pastor is not as 1/4 spiritually minded as Nigerians. The way we speak in tongues, the way we go for all night, but they have used statistics to build their church. It's amazing. And I'm sitting, I'm like, these people are just using management laws to build, they bring different principles, and you wonder, these are the management principles where they teach us for school, but they are using it to build it. So the futurist thing that Pastor is talking about is something we need to pay attention to, and pay attention to data. Okay, that's not on that side, because data actually has the world now. Data is the one that is everywhere. AI is data. Artificial intelligence is all built on data. So when I hear the word, my head is spinning like, okay, how can I use this to my advantage? How can we benefit from it? We should now begin to think with our Christian mind, with our redeemed mind, with our mind that has been regenerated. How can we now begin to apply this data to the future? How do we benefit from not just talking about, okay, with this data in this community, there are 5,000 people. If 500 can come to our church, that would be a good thing. Yeah, it's a good way to look at data, but there are other ways you can look at data to profit in business, because it is the business people that host the church. Okay, I don't want to preach a message this afternoon, but this evening. Secondly, and the final thing I want to mention is, sir, you were talking about minerals, the deposits that are in Africa, the data you were reading about the percentages that are in Africa. A few years ago, when my son was in elementary school, they called me to come and talk about Africa. And I also went into data and started bringing out things, even the things I discovered myself. I'm like, you mean we have all this in Africa and we're still this poor? Just because some people have decided to say they don't want people in sub-Saharan Africa to prosper. Pastor, I will send you one tweet that somebody sent to me. The guy was sitting down filming the thing discreetly. They didn't see him. So some of the things they were putting up, we couldn't see the full, but you could hear the man saying, we have to keep Africa the way they are. We must not allow them to understand what is going on. It is our duty to keep them suppressed. I was shocked. I was shocked to hear that. And finally, the point I wanted to make is, we were at a meeting last year. They call it AAPE, American Association of Blacks in Energy. And there was this woman, congresswoman, that came to speak to us. And he said, look, the minerals we need there in Africa, we're in Congo right now, trying to build some mineral thing. But Russia is already there. China is already there. What are they doing there? We've made 2 trips to Republic of Congo because of some minerals they are trying to grab from the place. And that's not only there. I have a friend in Nigeria that is also working on minerals. And he's telling, sir, the things he's telling me, they're mind-boggling. And I'm like, we have all these things in this place. So, sir, I'm just trying to put forward that the things you're saying, we Christians must pay attention and strategically locate ourselves. If we need to pay for reviews, if we need to pay a lawyer, if we need to pay an MBA student to build a case for us to say these are the things that are available, this is the business plan, or this is the feasibility plan, let's move away from free. Let's begin to invest our money. Yeah, we have not seen the investment yet, but if you have to pay $5,000 for a report that you know will make you $1 million tomorrow, I'm going to do it. Thank you, sir. I'll stop.
Thank you so much, Pastor Wisdom. Thank you. You absolutely are spot on again. Spirituality is different from religion. What we have in Nigeria is religion, or in Africa, it's a lot of religion, but little spirituality. That's a discussion for another day. But to be over to you.
Indeed, it is a discussion for another day. Thank you so much, Adelaja Emmanuel, for your very, very insightful contribution. Is there anyone else who would contribute to the conversation currently ongoing? Adiola Oshukojo. Adiola, can you unmute? Is your network better now?
Yeah, it's I'm so my apologies. It's how that is.
Black Moses is raising his hand, by the way.
Oh, Black Moses. Okay, I'm asking you to unmute Black Moses.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Good
Over to you.
evening, everyone, again. So I just want to add to what the last speaker was saying too. It was time that we Christians take it away from just, even when the Spirit has inspired us, giving us direction, there are sometimes we cannot but not get professional with what is it that we want to do or achieve, because the market is not for players, it's not for jokers. You just have to take things the way the business world is not in the church. It's in the business place. And where in the business place, you can also operate with the Spirit. However, you must do what is professional as professional. I remember, like, was it over 8 years now that Pastor Adeoye, I think it was just an ordinary session we were having. It was a leadership seminar. And I think I was talking that day, and then he stopped me in the track and told me, "Are you in hospitality?" I don't know if you remember this session. It was in Ikeja, the hotel, one hotel like that in Ikeja beside LTV. And he said, "Are you into hospitality?" I said, "No." He said, "You sound like a service person. You should be in the hospitality business." Though at that time I was in event business, but I was not into hotel. And he told me, "You should own hotel. You should go into things like that and look into it, because naturally it comes with you. You be a good manager." That was 8, 10 years ago. Today, I'm into Airbnb, right? So, and I'm like, okay, that's a guardian, that's a career guide that we'll get with a futurist or inspired futurist. Now, when it now comes into the marketplace, how do you not would you just now say, "Oh, because they told me to go and do Airbnb hotel," would you just run it anyhow? You now want to go study, enhance those skills, get yourself exposed to skills, learn skills, expose yourself to and acquire skills along the line, so that you can fit into that picture of the future. And the reason I'm saying that is I remembered last year I was at the AWS reInvent in Las Vegas, and I saw something. There was some demonstration they had in a particular location where the future, by the way, is a lonely future. For those who don't know, now know it's going to be quite lonely. Lonely in the fact that people are going to be more self-reliant and self-independent, and I think even the Bible says it when he said we're self-love and all of that. But really, he's going to get to that level. Now, why am I saying this? I saw a sport where you could play golf with AI, just in one sport, and it has a very big golf course. I saw it live, and the person was playing it, and all she needed was even less than a 4x4 bedroom size, which is the standard bed we say a lot of us use. It's just that small that the person needed, and she was playing golf, and it was on a very big golf course that had rivers, that had ports, that had a lot of things, and the AI was moving all around, and she was on one spot playing golf. I moved away from there. I moved to another spot, and this person was playing chess. This time around, it was not two human beings that was playing the chess. It was robots. They were playing the chess right in our front, and I was amazed. In fact, I have the videos. I could share them with Pastor Adeoye later. I have the videos. I just remember now because I was just mesmerized. Like, what is this? They were playing chess and they were thinking, and you could see them, and they were fast, with the game. So the future is, and I feel another thing I know for sure is the future is off the road. This road all of us are driving our cars on every day. In the next future, the sky is what we'll be contesting for. And we may be delivering things to people on the windows of our skyscrapers, because they are not driving. You just get to their door or their window and you drop it off for them. That's the way the world is going to. And with the way people are doing with what's it called? Rods and all those things in the skies. They're even using things to deliver to your house, you know. So that tells you that if you're not careful one time, the road you used to know as the road may become something else, or you may even pay to use the road because why you're not using the sky? It's wider and it's better for everybody than the road. So the future is really an interesting thing. And I pray that God will guide us and the Holy Spirit will continue to inspire us as we plan towards the future. The future as well, when it comes to security, is bleak. When it comes to security, it's really so bleak that it makes the Bible vision about what is it called, the 6666, so clear to me. Because I'm in IT right now, and I can tell you the struggle we are having with security globally on the global space, even with AI. There is a major problem in security. And with that, at the end of the day, the best way man may be able to protect himself is to have those chip in the inside of them or in their body to be able to do things. Or that's the only secured way they can do things, not with your card, not with your PIN, because people are breaking all these things every other day. May God help us in Jesus' name. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much for your contribution. Adiola, I saw you raise your hand for a bit.
Oh yes. First I want to say very me changes in parents. And what I've just has come, we have to consistently seek knowledge regarding the future trends in the world in general, so that we can fit ourselves. There's so much, and another thing I got from this session is
Adiola, your line is still breaking. Yeah, still breaking.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So I said that there's so many opportunities to so many, and even my own entertainment. And also just listening to the session, but also the reason why I also asked the question concerning also is that I just believe that your statistics is very important. You should search for any of those things. And also when some just inspired something. I remember in the first of that companies had done.
So sorry. We're still
All right,
struggling.
no problem. Okay, no problem. Then I think I have some other time.
I'm so sorry.
I think it's your microphone is humming.
Yes, it may be your mic. Because some words are, some aren't.
Wow.
It's humming.
It's network most likely.
Sorry about that. Adelaja Emmanuel, I see you raise your hand again.
No, it's before.
It's before.
No, I raised it again.
Okay.
We raised it again now. Okay. Sorry.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Just two things I quickly forgot that I wanted to speak about the last time. Number one, sir, you said something about regulations. The regulation will come, and definitely regulations do come. But we now have a system whereby technology moves faster than regulation. So the fintechs we're talking about, you discover that once you get into, for example, AI now, Congress is trying to run with regulation to meet AI that has already gone ahead. So once we see these opportunities, we must not wait. We must just capitalize on them. Regulation will meet us on the way, and then we begin to integrate ourselves into it. Because one thing is that the market does not wait for anyone. So once the market has taken off, even if regulation has not come, then you have to pay attention to how you run the business in such a way that you're not running foul of laws, or you're not putting yourself in a situation where you can be easily taken advantage of. I wanted to mention that. And sir, do you know there's uranium in Nigeria, sir? Do you know there is lithium in Nigeria? My friend that I spoke to you about is mining a lithium field in Nigeria. They call it spodumene.
We have everything.
Sir, it's mind-boggling. the things that are there. And then we Christians must know how to work together in syndicates. Let's work together. The black man is used to being, I want to be the only one that is doing, I want to be the one doing it. Let's learn how to now work together in syndicates, to work together, because they say two good heads are better than one. The Bible says one shall chase 1,000, two shall put 10,000 to flight. When we see situations where we can partner and genuinely partner, the resources we bring together will be such that people want to listen to us, banks want to talk to us if we have this, if we can deliver the goods. Thank you, sir.
I agree. Thank you so much.
I absolutely agree. Thank you so much, Adela. Okay, so we have Adebayo Ajibola raising his hand again. So you could go ahead, please.
That will be the last comment, so that because
Okay.
go on.
So Pastor Emmanuel said something. He said he talked about all of us working together, you know, one shall chase 1,000, two shall put 10,000 to flight. Unfortunately, we have few individuals now who are destroying 10,000, who are destroying prospects. I just said that humorously. By God's grace, we'll all work together. The future is very bright for Africa and for Nigeria. He talked about the mineral resources Nigeria is endowed with. I grew up in Jos, Plateau State. You cannot imagine, you can't, you do not have an idea of the large deposits of in-ground assets we have in Plateau State. Without mining, you would have heavy rains and mineral resources will be, you'll see locals packing them from the gutters, very shallow gutters, you know? So there's a lot for us in Africa. I mean, talking about the mineral deposits. Earlier today, I was discussing with someone I never knew to come up. I never knew to come up here. That the the debt we owe can actually be paid off using those things we have under. Those things have not been tapped. I don't want to digress, but you know, it came up and I thought I should just jump in real quick and give my own 2 cents. So we are blessed as a nation, as a continent, and okay, I'll just stop here. Pastor, thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you so much, Adebayo. Over to you, Pastor Diri.
Okay, thank you everyone for joining us for today. Awesome time of learning. We appreciate you all. Most certainly we'll continue again tomorrow. And please kindly join us tomorrow. It's going to be same time. Thanks a lot, Toby, for anchoring. All the contributors, thank you. All the persons who asked questions. And thank you, Pastor Nee in absentia, who probably is flying any minute from now. We really appreciate you. And hasta la vista. See you guys tomorrow. Same time, we will be with Professor Azinge tomorrow on regulatory issues. Thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thank you, sir. Have a wonderful evening, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Good evening, everyone. See you in the next session.